So today I want to work on a video for a possible intern or partner with our project here at South Bend Homestead. I've had a couple people interested in doing an internship, and then I see them pull up to the house and drive away because they don't think it's much of anything. So I'm going to show you a few things and walk you through so you can actually know what we need help with and what's going on here. So when you do pull up to our house, you'll see these raised beds out here. There's 3 of them, a rain barrel, and all along our sidewalk used to be hostas, and we pulled all those out, gave to our neighbor, and now all on there we're planting tomatoes. Out front we have problems with rabbits. We even have problems with rabbits in the backyard, but mostly in the front. So this year I put chicken netting around the pea bed because that's what they ate last year. Now we only have 3 beds out here right now, but we want to put 5 more, so we'll have 8. So 1 more here and then 4 in the front, and then we want to fill it up with rocks or mulch so that we don't have to mow this area anymore. But this is what you'll see when you pull up, and I know it doesn't look like much, so I'll take you to where all the other stuff happens. So we have our farm stand this year, which we've only had open 1 day. I want to set up an honor system and get that going. Just haven't really built the box for it because I've got so much other stuff going on. So come back here. This back area is where everything happened. So we're here with an apple tree on a small raised bed that I got for my wife a few years ago. We just plant herbs and stuff in here. I usually let this grow up here because there's all these blue flowers and the bees seem to really like it, so I don't really mow much of this. And then this area back here where this fence is for our dog Bijou to play, and then beyond that is what we call our urban farm. We also have a rain barrel up here, and it's been so dry these past few weeks that I've used up almost 100 gallons between this rain barrel and the one out front, so we really need some water. The rain today wasn't sufficient. So over here is the big greenhouse, and you can see I've got all kinds of tomatoes out here. There's some apple trees, seedlings, compost bin. This is our workstation where when we cut everything for market and cut greens for market, anything needs to be washed is washed here at the station. We bag it here, weigh everything out here, and then take it to market. I've got more tomatoes down there. This is another raised bed with peas in it. Just like one storage area for all my seedling starts. There's a bunch more in my garage. So here's our big greenhouse, which is a 10 by 20, and this is where everything gets started. I've pretty much started everything in here and then put it in the ground. I don't really do much of seeds in the ground now. I usually start them in here and then put the plant in the ground. So more tomatoes, many more tomatoes. These are staying in here. This is a new product I'm trying this year. Apparently red helps tomatoes grow a lot more, they found out, so I got these new grow bags that I'm trying out and actually working really well. Little micro toms, tomatoes, squash, more tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, dill, more tomatoes and cucumbers, and there's mosh over there, which is a lettuce. So there's all this stuff in here, and I record every germination rate. So if I plant 50 seeds in a tray and I get 30, I'll know that for next year if I should get that one, or if I get something. I think the worst one this year was I got something that had 10 seeds, only 2 germinated, so 20% germination rate. I'm not going to buy those again because it's not worth my time. It's not worth what we'll get in return for it. So a big part of doing this, creating an urban farm and having an urban farm, is what you're seeing right here. So everything in here I plant from seed. There's a bunch of seeds there. There's some up in this cabinet. We plant from seed. We grow up to a certain size that we want, and then it gets planted out in the yard. From there it's harvested and taken to market, and this is primarily done by myself. This is my full-time job. I left the corporate world a year and a half ago, or working for somebody else a year and a half ago. My wife is a full-time optician, so this is really what I do by myself. Once a week, the weather permitting, my brother and my mom come over and help me for 3 or 4 hours if they can. If the weather's bad, it's still just me, and if it's like today, it rained for a little bit and I really couldn't do anything outside this morning, so I sat in the greenhouse and just repotted stuff, because I've got all those tomatoes that I just showed you that were in front of the greenhouse. I repotted those today because they're just getting root bound, and I haven't got the space ready yet for them to go outside. So this is why I'm asking for an intern or help or a partnership. I haven't actually made any money doing this yet, so that's another thing that I want people to understand is, even though we sell at market and there's money coming in, pretty much all the money's already gone out. So last year we really broke even. This year we're actually negative because the market's been slow, and we only go to one market. I want to branch out to 1 or 2 more markets, but again, I need somebody else that can help me and do that. So there could be a possibility for money, but right now I just really like the help to get this going, or somebody that has the same kind of vision that I have, which is completely transforming our space into a working urban farm that brings in money for us, and that could lead to future projects and ideas that we have to make more money and to bring in more people. I really want to build a sense of community, which thus far has not worked out so well, and I think that might be because I need somebody else, that can help, so that myself and this other person can kind of work in different areas and try to get people interested and involved. And there's so much more to this, and this is really a big passion for me. I want to go from here in a few years to possibly a bigger farm. We looked at a bigger farm. We actually looked at a farm before we bought this house, but we couldn't get financed for it, so this was our first step. And it's only a 1/4 acre, but you can do an awful lot by following a few simple steps. Last year I grew 529 pounds of produce, and that was all kinds of stuff: greens, lettuce, tomatoes, eggplant, onions, garlic, potatoes, all kinds of stuff. And that's all on our website at southbendhomestead.com. There's a chart that I track. I track these myself, and then I put them on our website so that people can see what I've grown of. Whereas somebody's not going, oh well, you grow 500 pounds of squash, which in itself is like 10 pounds each, and it's like, no, I grow all kinds of stuff. Herbs. I try to grow everything. Each year I try something new. This year I'm trying okra, which I haven't even planted yet because it needs extreme heat to grow, so I need to get that seeded. But I've never grown okra before. I don't personally like to eat okra, but we had a lot of people at market last year that wanted okra, so that's something I want to try this year. So from here I'll take you outside and show you what's out here. And this is really our main growing area. And this year I have expanded this area, and it's 30 feet bed, I believe. I can't remember the exact. It might be like 29 or 31, but there's going to be 6 beds. Right now I've only got 5 done. This one was pretty much all of our greens, and you can see here there's some squash that I put in after I took out a bunch of greens that I've already taken to market. And there's some lettuce, there's spinach, there's more greens. All this stuff will be harvested. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it will be harvested this week for market on Saturday. This is all of our beans that are starting to come up. And this whole row is pretty much beans. In the back there's some weeds that that need to be pulled out, even though it's all been tilled. And there's the weeds are just loving this weather. So I'll pull all that out, and we'll put some lettuce or some crops that actually like the shade from the trees above. The next row here we have some herbs. There's coriander, there's squash, there's greens, there's some tomatoes mixed in for sometimes when you plant something. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 tomatoes out there. And in those 4 spots, no, I'd say there's 5, another one there. The squash that I planted there, the cucumbers, just, they died, they didn't work. And that happens, that's just part of growing. So they didn't work, so I plant tomatoes there instead. In this next row we have more tomatoes, and this row we also have more tomatoes. And then this hasn't been tilled up yet, but this will be the 6th row, and then a space next to it by the chicken coop. And I'm sure you're already looking at this going, wow, that's really close spacing for tomatoes. These are determinants. These are called pole bag right here. Over here there's a mixture of some Manitoba, some 42 days, semi-determinants. The ones in the back there, I think those are earlies. So all these will end up doing a single stem method. So any of the suckers will be pruned off. There'll be a pole up next to it, and there'll just be a single stem. And these aren't going to get very tall because they're determinants. So they're just going to grow to a certain height. They'll put out all of their fruit, and then they'll be done. So the pole bigs are one of those just like quintessential tomato that's, you know, good size, red. And this will produce for us. Tomatoes were our biggest seller last year at market, so we of course want some fast growing good tomatoes. So these are, we're doing a lot of determinants this year, so we're get tomatoes fast. We'll put a bunch on, we'll have tomatoes for a while. But then we also have a lot of different indeterminates, so they'll just grow throughout the season. And there's all those tomatoes out, that I've shown you in the greenhouse. A lot of those need to be separated and planted out here. That's why I don't have this ready yet, so that's why I've been repotting tomatoes so they don't get root bound and they have more room to grow until I have the space for them. So all this is probably going to be tomatoes. A lot of that's going to be tomatoes, and probably this row here is probably going to be tomatoes too when I get this done. On this side there's more tomatoes. There's a lot of sun in this spot, so I need to get this rest of this tilled up, and this will be a lot of peppers over here. Cucumbers will go here. The cucumbers that I had died in that crazy frost that we had a month ago, that just snuck up on us. That's garlic, and that's going to be pulled soon. Potatoes are back here. Our chickens, we've got 5 of them. Back here I have some beans growing. These are just experiment beans. I don't really expect them to do anything. These were beans from probably 3 years ago that I had left, that I shelled from their pods and forgot about them and pulled them out and see if they grew, and they did. But we had radishes next to them, and I already picked those and sold those at market a few weeks ago. In the back here we have what we call our mini orchard. So there's a cherry tree, there's a plum tree. This big tree is mulberries, which we'll be getting those soon for market. There's 2 pawpaw trees in front of those, and those are fruits can primarily be grown for the chickens. There's 2 pear trees, there's a peach tree and a nectarine tree that got hit by peach borers last year, and I'm not sure if they're gonna grow or if they're dead, so I'm just kind of watching them this year to see what happens. We'll occasionally settle here at our fire pit. We sometimes have our tent out here and camp because we can't always leave because we have chickens and responsibilities here, so sometimes we just have a staycation and just camp out in the backyard. We also have a small greenhouse, and it's pretty much empty right now because a lot of stuff I had in here is already planted out or sold at market. There's some onions back there, some tomatoes, some echinacea that didn't grow. I think it got too hot in here. But this year I'm actually thinking about replacing this greenhouse with a aluminum one that's going to be on sale next month. So I might be selling this and getting that one. If that doesn't happen, either way, whatever greenhouse is back in the space, I want to do tomatoes on strings because it's something that's very good for quote-unquote like factory tomato farming or commercial tomato farming, where they bind them up a string and that they stay really nice and easy to harvest and stuff like that. So that's what my plans are for this greenhouse. Back here in this what looks like a mess is actually our compost pile. It's 2 years old, and this is where we harvest all of our dirt for all of our plants. There's one of the baby bunnies down here that Keep seeing it's eating all my strawberries that are back there. So yeah, I mean, this is really a labor of love and a lot of work, and I really enjoy doing it. But I would really love somebody else that has this passion for gardening or farming, even somebody that doesn't really know a lot and wants to learn. It's a lot for one person to take on. You know, my brother was hoping that he could help more, but that's impossible with the way his job is. He works in a factory, and a lot of times he's working 6 days a week and just tired and exhausted, and you know, I understand that. So somebody that has free time, is willing to work for free, because that's basically what I do. I've put out a lot of money to start this last year, and this is our 2nd year in full production, and I'm hoping we make money this year. I really am, and if we do, you know, there's a possibility that somebody could get paid, but right now I'm actually negative in money. And if this is something that somebody wants to possibly become my partner on, or we could build some sort of plan or get to more markets and make some more money, that would be great too. But I just wanted to show somebody, anybody that's interested, have this video out there so that you could look at it and watch it and see just from driving up to our house that, yeah, it doesn't look like much, but when you come in the backyard, there's an awful lot going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're interested enough to get in touch with me and come out and talk to me, email me. I'm usually always available. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know. All the information will be in this Craigslist, and that I'll have this video either linked to or attached to. I'm not sure if I can put videos on there. So until then, take care. My name is Mike, and I hope this interests you.